So when we talk about this notion of healing, you'll often hear people talking about, I'm not healed enough. If I can just be healed enough, then once I'm healed enough, then I'll be a vibrational match for someone else who's healed enough. And then we can be together and then I can finally be happy. Right. So this is like, I did a brief story about this last week where we're talking about this notion of enough. So what premise you are operating under in that moment is that I'm not good enough as I am right now. So what you're doing is you're focusing on a gap between where you are and where it is you think you need to be. And so all your energy is actually a judgment. That's a judgmental energy, right? So it's not that you have to be perfect and you have to have your shit together and you have to have everything, all your ducks lined up in a row before you can find the lover who's perfect and has all of their ducks lined up in a row. It is, what is your energetic relationship to having or not having all your ducks lined up in a row? If you're someone who says, I have to be perfect before I attract the perfect partner, then you're going to attract a partner who says, I have to be perfect before I attract the perfect partner. And so then you're constantly scanning each other for your perfection, right? You're constantly, is he where are they? Is he where he needs to be? Is she where she needs to be? Have they done this? Have they done that? Are they up to snuff? But the energy that you want is an energy where you are is one of allowance, acceptance, and appreciation, right? You know what? I have a vision. I have a vision for where I want to be in my life. Like, and that's a vision that I allow to emerge from my inner deepest place of inner knowing. And I welcome that image and it feels good when I take a next step in order to follow it. And I have this incredible balance between sensing what the next action step may be, performing that action step, getting a response from the universe, taking it in, allowing my inner being to feel it out, and then allowing what my next step might be as a result of that kind of exchange. So you have to realize that everything in life is a continual process, which means you're never going to be perfect enough, which means you're never going to be healed enough. Trying to chase that is a futile effort. So what becomes of importance is your relationship to not having your shit together. Your relationship to this idea that there are things that you want but you don't have them yet. Can you be relaxed with that? Can you be like, yeah, there's things that I want, but I don't have them yet, and that's okay because that's all part of the process because I am enjoying the journey. I get to go to all these cool workshops and learn about things that I'm just now opening up to because I had this terrible heartbreak. And isn't this so fun that I actually kind of hope that I never achieve that level of perfection because if I got there, I don't know what I'd do with myself. Wouldn't it be kind of neat to meet someone else who's also in this process and not needing to be perfect and we can just kind of relax into this sort of imperfect journey together and just kind of laugh at the paradoxes that life is continually offering up to us. And so that's a relationship to not being perfect, right? What is your relationship to not being perfect? And it's that kind of energy that is going to draw into your life a companion, not an end game, right? Like not an outcome. So because anyone who's in a long-term relationship and has been for a while will tell you just because you commit doesn't mean the work is over. In fact, in many ways, a new kind of work is just beginning. So it's a constant process. So pain is just when you are thinking a thought and you are operating under usually an egoic set of beliefs and limiting beliefs and principles that do not line up with the essence of your being, that do not line up with the truth of your spirit, which is that notions that I can only have love if it's with this specific person, right? I can only, I can't do this because of that. Yeah, but, right? So anytime the ego is in operation, it's almost always, and you know that your ego is up in operation when you in your head feel yourself, hear yourself saying things like, we have to make this decision and we have to make it now. Otherwise, our life is completely derailed, right? There's a right and wrong way to do this, and I have to make the right choice. Otherwise, my life is in shambles. Everything is going to be ruined, right? So the ego is almost always trying to convince you that there is an extreme state of urgency. The ego is also almost always trying to convince you that there is a right and a wrong path and that you have a limited number of opportunities. That is an egoic voice. And if you hear that voice, it's the ego in operation. And if you hear that and you realize, you recognize the ego is in operation, recognize in that moment there is a deeper, subconscious, unconscious part of yourself that is feeling threatened by something. And usually it's something that is seeking a deeper sense of expression. So when you have a fear, we typically want something to satisfy the fear, but we need to look closer at the fear because on the backside of it, there is a deeper desire that is in much deeper resonance with who you are. So I want a partner because if not, I'm going to die alone. I want a partner because without them, I can't access my vital energy through sex, right? So 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 what you are wanting is actually a plug. You're looking for a plug to stop something, the flow of fear, right? You're looking for a band-aid basically. And so what you're going to keep calling in is partners, circumstances, situations that reflect that kind of energy. You're going to call in band-aids. And eventually the underlying infection, which is actually the deeper desire that you have, is going to infect everything you do, right? And what is the deeper the desire? Well, the deeper desire on the backside of a fear of trying to plug up the flow of anxiety with people, places, things is that, you know what? I am full of life, love, enjoyment, and appreciation just the way that I am and just the way life is. There are so many wonderful things in my life right now. And if and a partner would be wonderful because it would allow us to expand into a shared space together where each of us, as whole and vital and being on fire about life human beings, can kind of be on fire about life together. And when we join that kind of energy, of course, we can only learn how to expand. And so when we are filled up in this way, I've used this metaphor before, it's kind of like if you're relying on a partner to stop up your fear of dying alone or of not being good enough or of not feeling excited or of a preoccupation with romanticism as being the only way to have good feelings in life, it's almost like you're underwater and you're both trying to share the same oxygen tank. You're just passing it back and forth between you. But imagine that if both of you can be filled up and on fire about life and understanding that you are whole just as you are, and that that wholeness can and does exist in relationship to others beyond a narrow scope of romantic partnership, then what happens is you start to really fill up your circumference. And now the two of you have your own oxygen tanks. And when you have your own oxygen tanks, guess what? You can dive a lot deeper. You can go a lot deeper and you can see things that, fish and creatures and things that produce their own luminescence way down beneath the surface. And this is a metaphor that I hope you picked up on I'm using to demonstrate how deep the intimacy can actually go when the two of you are in a practice of oxygenating yourself, when you are in a process of being able to, as I said before, expand and contract your own energy around what it is that you are attributing to your behaviors, right? To the way you're relating to others. Because once you're able to do that, the love and the romance and the attraction and the arousal and the far-reaching consequences of things like sex, of things like shared interests, of things like being able to rely on someone when you're sick or when you can't do whatever it is that you need to do in the way that you want to do it, becomes so much richer, so much fuller, so much deeper, and not fear-based, right? Which means that now, rather than volleying the energy back and forth between you, now you're able to move in parallel directions. And you're not stuck in this back and forth kind of energy. You're in an energy that's spherical, it's expansive. I hope that makes sense. I know that sometimes it's a bit abstract. And if you have any thoughts or questions that you have as a result of this discussion here or things that are popping up for you, I would love to see those in the comments here or in the chat box. And if you do like this content and or you want to learn more, remember to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. You can also check out the links in the caption of this video for my online courses as well as my Instagram community. And if that's all the time you have for today, I wish you a great week.